If I may, I have your attention, please. We need to continue with the agenda. Okay, so I have been tasked today to provide a compact and shorter discussion on a very, I would say, hot topic, broad and complex itself. So the title of this panel session is FDI, Foreign Direct Investments in North Macedonia, Future Prospects. So we need to exercise a very excellent time management skills, first and foremost, and also we need to provide as well a fruitful discussion. So please allow me to introduce you with the panelists of this session. First, I would like to introduce you with Mr. Athanasios Savakis. He's a president of Federation of Industries of Greece. Then with Mr. Dejan Pavlevski, the director of Invest North Macedonia. Then I have the honor to introduce you with Mrs. Maya Filipcheva, president of the American Chamber of Commerce of North Macedonia. And last but not the least, with Mr. Ari Naim, I hope I have pronounced you well, regional manager of International Finance Corporation for Central and Southeastern Europe. So welcome to this session, dear panelists. As I said at the beginning, we will have a kind of new scenario. We need to be brief, and then I will give just a short introduction on the topic, and then I will invite you and pose you specific questions. Why I said foreign direct investments is very broad, complex itself, and for many, many decades, policy making and academia has debated about the role and scope of FDI in development. So therefore, this question is very difficult to clarify, not only because this question has been colored by diverse ideological dogmas, if I can say, but also because of the very fundamental characteristics of cross-border investments which have changed over time. So basically, if we go back to the traditional perspective of FDI, they have been visualized as a flow of capital flowing from north to south by big multinational enterprises from industrial countries investing in developing countries, traditionally aiming to exploit natural resources, investing in developing countries, and to substitute trade as a means to serve domestic consumption markets. So the first part of the session will start with a very basic questions. And the first question will be given to Mr. Pavlevski. Mr. Pavlevski, could you briefly elaborate on this question? How can North Macedonia unlock its potential to improve foreign direct attractiveness or to increase foreign direct investments in the country?
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for this great forum and for inviting me to have this opportunity to address you. Now I will switch on Macedonian because of time management to be more effective and efficient. С оглед на времето што го имаме, ќе гледам да видам навистина брз и краток. Би почнал со два интересни факти, а тоа е првиот дека се зборува дека постои една стара кинеска клетва која што вика да живееш во интересни времења, а второто е дека во кинескиот јазик постои само единствен збор кој што ги објаснува три збора од западните подрачја, а тоа се проблем, закана и можност. Значи со еден збор се опишуваат овие три збора. И сега несомнено, сакале тоа или не, ние живееме во едни интересни времења и на некој начин и дел од овој форум и дискусијата е да видиме како овие соочувањето со овие проблеми со овие закани, да бидат заобиколени и како да се пропознаат можностите во овие навистина интересни времења. На почеток би дал еден мал вовед во однос на тоа што се случува со странските директни инвестиции глобално и во нашата држава, затоа што за се друго беше дискутирано претходно. На светско ниво странските директни инвестиции бележат опаѓање континуирано од 2015 наваму и во моментот се на најниско можно ниво и се на негде на нивото од 90-тите години. Кај нас, спротивно на тоа, во 2018 имавме најдобрата година во поглед на странски директни инвестиции со 607 милиони евра, потоа 2019 беше втората најдобра година во последните десетина години со 363 милиони евра странски директни инвестиции и во 2020 година се случи пад од 40% во однос на 2019, што е подобар резултат од она што се случуваше во светот, во развиените економии и економиите во транзиција, кои што бележеа пад од 58%. И мислам дека интересен е податокот дека во 2020 година нивото од 206 милиони евра странски директни инвестиции беше повисок за 15% во однос на она што беше во 2017 година, што навистина дава една перспектива дека и не било толку црно, немало толку црни сценарија во однос на странските директни инвестиции и интересот на странските инвеститори да ја препознаат нашата држава како интересна за инвестирање. Сега, исто така, беше овде дискутирано, меѓутоа би го напоменал од аспект на важни фактори, тоа се новата политичка динамика која што се случува во нашата држава во последните 4 години, потоа склучувањето на договорот од Преспа, пристапувањето на нашата држава во НАТО, успешното справување со здравствената криза и доведување во една, ајде да кажеме, нормала во последниот период и кризните мерки кои што ги спроведе владата во изминатата година за поддршка на бизнисите, за чувување на работните места, фискалната стабилност и ликвидноста, секако несомнено даваат силен позитивен импулс и зрачат со стабилност, сигурност и безбедност не само за Северна Македонија, туку и за целиот регион. Дополнително, интервентниот план за инвестиции на владата 2021-2027, кој што во најголем дел е во насока на инвестирање на одржливите развојни цели, дава една нова перспектива и стимулација за сериозен инвестициски циклус. И сега поддршката на државата, на владата кон новите инвеститори е генерално позната.
Yeah, if I may just add some comments and then we'll continue because I need to guide you through the questions. So basically you have mentioned also the pandemic crisis and the impact and everything. You provide an overview of the current situation of foreign direct investments in Macedonia. And I completely agree also with you that in each crisis we can see an opportunities, or I can use the one quote to confront you from Charles Darwin: do not survive the most intelligent, the most smart, survive those that can most easily adapt to the environment. So in this perspective, in this regards, I think you have started to discuss about that. I would like to ask you a more specific question. If we reflect now on the pandemic crisis and on the recovery, what can help, or how the interventions, the strategy that you mentioned can help North Macedonia to navigate the new landscapes of FDI and build up a new scenario for post-pandemic trends? And the second, as a question, as a sub-question, we see a shift of companies from Asia closer to the parent companies in Europe. Do you think that our country is ready to face such a surge or benefit from such a shift? And then, last not the least, what is the aftercare? So you have started to discuss this question, therefore I have interrupted you. What is the aftercare of the state for the existing investors, which is crucial because this can be a catalyst for the entry of new companies? So please take the floor with a kind of reflection, if you can do it on all three questions, sub-questions. Thank you.
Благодарам, секако да. Ова сакав да кажам дека позната е поддршката на владата, на државата, на новите инвеститори и во зависност од бизнис планот, во зависност од бројот на новите вработувања, во зависност од висината на платата, во зависност од тоа дали се потребни дообуки, преквалификации, доквалификации на работната сила, во зависност од обратот кој што се очекува од новата инвестиција, поддршката може да стигне и до 50% од вкупните инвестицијски трошоци. Но она што сакам да го потенцирам овде е она што го препознавме како можност, е тоа дека секогаш во кризи најдобар излез за економијата, за придвижување, се вкупно напред, се иновативноста и инвентивноста. И токму во овој дел ние и со новите измени во законот за поддршка на инвестициите, кои што се генерално и за домашните и за странските, предвидуваме 50% поддршка за research and development активностите на компаниите. Со тоа сакаме да стимулираме вакви активности, а директно, индиректно поголем ангажман на високо квалификувана работна сила, која што ќе остане овдека, ќе додава нова додадена вредност во економијата. Исто така, го препознавме и фактот дека треба да ги стимулираме компаниите, инвеститорите да инвестираат повеќе во зелена енергија, односно во поставување на фотонапонски системи, кои што ќе им бидат од корист во намалување на нивните трошоци, меѓутоа исто така да имаат можност вишокот на електрична енергија да биде ставен во мрежа, што исто така е многу важно за државата. И овие активности се поддржуваат со 20% од трошоците. Во однос на она шифтање што би требало да се случи, затоа што ние слушаме анализи, гледаме и така натака од сериозни институции, наголемо се зборува на оваа тема. Факт е дека се уште немаме такви некои големи шифтови, меѓутоа исто така факт е и реалност дека ќе има раздвижување во вредносните синџири, во реалокација на производствените капацитети, потрага по можности за отпорност на новите инвестиции и диверсификација на ризиците и портфолијата на инвеститорите. И секако дека нашата улога треба да биде проактивна на ова поле. Не случајно го спомнав и на предходно дека добро е што сме препознати како добра дестинација за инвестиции и тоа мислам дека ќе даде вака еден добар импулс за овие придвижувања и случувања, да значат и привлекување на нови странски инвеститори, но овде исто важна улога ќе игра и она што беше претходно споменато, регионалната соработка, значи меѓусебни инвестиции во регионот, учество на локалните добавувачи во регионалните вредносни синџири, заедничко учество на регионалните играчи, на светските вредносни синџири и сето тоа ќе значи една поголема компетитивност, способност на целиот регион, а со тоа и на земјите поединечно да привлечат странски директни инвестиции. И авторкерот секако е еден импулс кој што дополнително ќе значи испраќање на јасни сигнали до новите инвеститори дека ние се грижиме за постоечките инвеститори и тоа не само во смисла на спроведување на некои административни процедури, помагање на некои обични логистички активности, туку многу повеќе во делот на поврзување со академијата, со универзитетите, со институтите, научните институти, воопшто со образованието, како би се стимулирала таа соработка и во насока на Research and Development. И секако тука е исто важно спојувањето на локалните добавувачи со странските инвеститори. На таков начин тие ќе бидат не само нема да представува тоа само стимулација на странските инвеститори, туку и една добра референца пред потенцијалните нови инвеститори.
Sure, they will also support the local businesses, to grow, and these are kind of a very important driver of our national economy. Thank you, Mr. Pavlevski. Mr. Savakis, Greece is one of the oldest investors in North Macedonia, starting with Okta, Stopanska Banka, and other banks. The Prespa agreement has also opened new opportunities in this field. So I would kindly ask you now to comment on several questions. The first one is, how this shifting landscape, we have discussed with Mr. Pavlevski as well, provides opportunities for North Macedonia to attract more foreign direct investment from Greece, and in which sectors? And if I may add here, what are the obstacles, what are the gaps according to you, what is your opinion, that to level up the playing field for new Greek investors? Please take the floor.
Thank you very much. I will try to be brief. First of all, allow me to express my thanks for the invitation to participate on the Skopje Economic Forum. I'd like to express my congratulations to the organizers, Mr. Simeon Tsomokos and Delphi Economic Forum, and Mr. Aris Vlachos, for organizing such a high-level event. The Federation of Industries of Greece is located in the second largest city of Greece, that is Thessaloniki. So we have a real proximity to the city of Skopje, therefore we have a first-hand experience of the cooperation amongst the Greek and the North Macedonian enterprises and the Greek investments in the country beyond the numbers. Of course, the numbers give us an overview of the state of Greek investments in North Macedonia. The stock of Greek FDIs in North Macedonia amounts approximately at 535 million euros. This places Greece as the third most important investor partner in North Macedonia, and this obviously comes as a natural result of the expansion of the Greek enterprises in the Balkans and the wider Southeastern Europe over the past 20 years. These markets have long ceased being a foreign market for Greek enterprises, with more than 3,000 Greek businesses being active there and investing several billion of euros, creating over 200,000 jobs. That was due to the relatively small size of the Greek market. Hence, the dynamic extrovert enterprises began looking towards Western Balkans long ago for an expansion, and thus developing high-quality products and services, high-standard products, products certified according to European standards, and obviously competitive products and services. Thus, when the Balkan markets opened up, Greek enterprises were ready not only to serve these markets, but also to act as the main pipeline of know-how transfer, of technology, and advanced business sophistication through investments and joint ventures. This feature has played its role as a factor of stability and prosperity in our neighborhood, retaining a fair and good level of economic cooperation throughout the years and improving the overall outlook of the Balkan region. Thus, I trust that it was the entrepreneurial world that laid the grounds for overcoming disputes that held us behind. And this is very important also for the future. That is why today we are taking the cooperation in the next level. The investments that take place in either country have a significant spillover effect. An example of this is the upgrading of the infrastructure in Greece, mainly ports and the development of new energy grids based in renewable energy sectors. Renewable energy sources that take place in Greece that leverage the attractiveness of North Macedonia as an investing destination. Today, in the aftermath of the economic crisis and the turbulence of the COVID-19 pandemic, positive signs arise. Over and above that, our opinion is that the investing orientation of North Macedonia needs to present a new growth model. For this, the crucial question is what governments can or cannot do to attract more FDIs. Our experience from Greece has shown that FDI in the Balkans is influenced by government policies, such as institutional reforms, tax incentives, as well as by factors such as size, level of development, and geographical position. All these factors are crucial for shaping the business landscape of the region and its future potential.
Thank you very much for your specific, I would say, answer to the question. Hence, very short, what is the potential for Greece to enter with a new greenfield investment in the country?
Today, in the age of the fourth industrial revolution and environmental responsibility, it is equally important with the factors that we mentioned previously, that is the type of government policies that ought to be implemented overall as a inclusive strategy. What is important is this mixture of policies ought to influence the quality of the investments, that is both foreign and domestic, and particularly its sectoral distribution. And this is very important. Our proposal, my thoughts are very clear. Governments should play a more active role regarding inward FDI. And when we say an active role regarding inward FDI, is not only these policies, but what we call a 360 degrees industrial policy. And this is the most important incentive for a foreign investor.
On a continuous basis, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Savakis. Mr. Naim, shifting the focus now from foreign direct investment subsidies to soft infrastructure, I would like to ask you, how crucial is it for more investment and FDI, but also for domestic company experts, for example, customs procedure, non-custom barriers, certificates, origins, in general, the soft infrastructure? So this is my first question. And in addition, if we connect now the infrastructure services, they're also impacted by technology, by technological disruption and digitalization. Also, please provide your opinion on the question, how can digitalization reduce administrative barriers for FDI in North Macedonia? And what do you think, how this would reflect on the business environment, especially if we take into consideration the experience from the region?
Thank you very much for the questions. IFC, as you know, is part of the World Bank Group and the largest development finance institution focused on private sector development. So for us, the question of private investment is critical in this recovery that we are hoping is coming very fast. And that includes foreign direct investment and local investment. So, you know, I can only concur with what my colleagues and co-panelists have said. What I would add to be very specifically answering your question is about soft infrastructure. It is true that North Macedonia is a country that is already, and before this crisis, attractive to investment. It has a good business environment, a good doing business ranking. It is well connected, it is open to trade. So what more can it do? And it must do something, because we are at the exit of this crisis with very little public finance space. And if we don't get FDI, and if we don't get investment, where are the jobs going to come from? So I think we have to balance that kind of a bit more pessimistic perspective with the opportunities. And the opportunities, they are very clear. The green transition, we estimate that there are trillions of investment in the world, in the emerging world, that are good investment that will produce hundreds of millions of jobs and reduce carbon emissions. The digital economy, for which our young population in the region have the skills and can be educated, and also this movement of value chains closer to Europe that we see is going to be a driving factor. So North Macedonia has the opportunity to leverage that. What can it do and what can it continue doing? I mean, I would say one thing is continue improving the business environment. And when you think about soft infrastructure, I mean, you heard the Minister of Justice mention, you know, the legal framework, but also the judicial capacities in the country as a very important piece of business infrastructure. So, for instance, we are working with this government to improve insolvency and business exit laws. And I think this is even more relevant at the exit of this crisis. Second, you mentioned trade barriers and trade facilitation. And clearly, whatever can make the pie bigger for the country is improving the competitiveness and the investment. And for that, I mean, North Macedonia, again, is already very much open. It is the only country right now in the region that has actually electronic processes for import-export licenses, which is fantastic. Next step is to open a national single window for trade operations, which will, again, facilitate, one transaction for companies that have to deal with licenses, whatever minister they are part of. So we are also working on that with the Customs Administration and the Minister of Economy. And then I think one important thing is, in addition to what is being done, is to put the country on the map of the global investment community. And how do you do that? In our opinion, the country has an opportunity to really structure and design a number of large public-private partnerships in infrastructure that, when they are well designed, not only they answer critical needs such as providing renewable energy, providing battery storage balancing, creating jobs locally, but also putting the country on the map of the global investment community and automatically raising the attention, because I think it's part almost of the PR that the country can do, but a very concrete PR with very concrete, you know, processes that can at the same time solve an infrastructure gap and at the same time attract the attention of the actual great attractivity of the country to international investment.
Yeah, this was, I can say, a great recommendation from your side. And to wrap up, putting the country on the map of global investments, I would use this final sentence to continue the discussion with Mrs. Maya Filipcheva. AmCham is part of U.S. Chamber of Commerce network. So moving forward from what Mr. Naim said, putting the country on the map of global investment, I would like you to comment a little bit on the following two questions. Can we expect improvement of the business relation with the American companies in view of, if I can say, building bridges for new FDI, or maybe deepening the existing ones and creating a bigger foreign direct investment spillover? And the sub-question, what are the AmCham related activities in this field and in the context of adapting to the new FDI trends and post-COVID challenges? Maya, please.
Thank you, Snezhana, for the questions. I would like to express our greetings to the first economic Delphi Forum that is organized in Skopje, and also that we are part to be on this forum and take or share our insights in respect to the questions and today's discussion on the topic. Actually, these are two important question and sub-question, and I will try to respond very shortly due to the time that we have. And the first one is that US and Europe, it's actually had the summit after 7-year-long pause period for first time, whereby the both relationships put the joint agenda that they will definitely work toward or renew transatlantic collaboration in the future. They mutually like to see Europe and US, the global economy going toward higher level of democracy, rule of law, free trade, and fair competition. I also like to mention that MCHAM North Macedonia is part of the US Chamber of Commerce and is also part of the MCHAS in Europe, and actually which is an umbrella of 46 countries in Europe and Euro-Asia covering. And actually for first time after so long period we are seeing those two European and US chambers coming together, united and working very closely in this new decade. And one of the things that also was the outcome from this summit, that this relation and this agenda will continue to mark the economy in the future or the next decade. And in respect to your second question, what MCHAM North Macedonia is doing in respect to the FDIs and in general with the investments, I would like to share a couple of points for which our chamber is very proud. In the past year, our chamber is very closely working with our sister chambers around the region in strengthening the collaboration. That means that this year we'd focus mostly on the bilateral activities that we will see in the next period together with the MCHAM Greece and MCHAM Bulgaria. So the first activity that we set down for this year, end of fourth quarter, will be the virtual trade mission that will take place together and with the support of the American Chamber of Greece and American Chamber of North Macedonia, together with the support of our US embassies. And this is something that I want to announce, that probably more will come in the media, where mostly of our business community will have opportunity to take part. Another initiative that we are working on, and I also want to tap on what the General Secretary from Hellenic Republic mentioned, Mr. Smilos, is that those countries will need to see progress in their collaboration by strengthening the opportunity to do business, and this is something that we mutually collaborate. It's the signing of the double tax treaty that will give good pulse to the countries, and actually we will be closing the circle that we actually missed for a very long time, and this is the agreement that we missed with Greece. Other than that, we have those agreements with all our neighbors. And last but not least is that we are together working with MCHAM in Europe on mutual platform, where we will give opportunities to all our members across Europe and US to come together and explore opportunity for collaboration, strengthen the business investments. So this is something that we expect to see more in the next period. And finally, there has been said so much previously on this very fruitful forum. I believe that the business actually wants to do some work and see some work now. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Also, so it seems that you have a pretty much ambitious agenda, if I may conclude. And finally, please allow me now to wrap up the session. The title was FDI Prospects in North Macedonia, and our keywords, if you agree with me, what are the panelists, all panelists have shared were kind of first and most important, cooperation, strong cooperation, then long-term strategy, new business model that will be once again focused on a strong cooperation and building bridges. I really hope that after this panel, the panelists here will be able to build bridges. Thank you for your effort and time and for the given contribution, and success to other panels as well that come now. Thank you.